What's up, everybody? I'm Michael Chris, 3 years running bestseller at ShineOn. Now I'm the CMO of ShineOn. I wanted to thank you so much for checking out our YouTube video. And if you like this kind of content, I want you to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I hope you enjoy the video.
So we got to my wife. I'll just read through it real quick. I know the distance is hard. I know I keep working long hour, but my day starts and ends with you. You don't cross my mind. You live in it. I love you forever and always. Love, your husband. Okay, so several things going on here. If at all possible, I suggest, you can't see my pen, but anyways, I'm circling wife. Make sure that at least the who it's to is easy to see. It's a little bit covered over here, obviously, so I would put that up there. Um, I kind of like the this kind of a design. I think would appeal to certain people. With black and then the red, I think it can work. I know. So I know the distance is hard. See, I think okay. So a side note here, if you have certain words that really are worth bolding or changing the color, I think that can be a good strategy. Let me see if I can change my color here. Hold on. I want to circle things and I don't have the right thing. Okay, so like this. I think that can be good to choose certain words that can stand out in your message. Let me. Sorry, I'm playing around with these tools too much. Anyways, I know the distance is hard. I know I keep working long hours. So we have a typo here, of course, and there's no punctuation. So I'm sure it's supposed to be long hours. But my day starts and ends with you. You don't cross my mind. You live in it. So I don't know. It's just, I guess the phraseology is a little bit awkward to me in general. I think it has sort of some of the elements there. The love your husband part at the bottom is a little hard to read for me. I think that could be clear. I think you're maybe using the same as you did for the wife. For this large wife part at the top, I think that was okay. But at the bottom, it's a little bit harder to read. So maybe just make that clearer font. What else would I say about this? I might sit here and think a little bit about the phrase and type something on the side. But if I was trying to, I don't know. So I apologize. I'm just sort of thinking through and looking at it. So I might be like, I know we've been apart for a long time. The distance is difficult, but you're always in my mind. You're always in my heart. My day starts and ends with you on my mind. I don't know. I think that could be a little bit more blending of the phrase there. And I apologize. I can't do it off the top of my head, but what do you guys got?
So for me, it's an attention thing as well. So the first thing that I see is I see this red. I don't get drawn to the important part, which is the phrase. So you could tone this down and go like more of the mahogany, darker sort of, or like a purplish color, like just so it's not the centerpiece of the design of the necklace of the product, right? So you want the phrase and the receiver to stand out the most, and that also causes problems for the placement of two Maya. So like it's getting hit by the necklace because you're using all of this real estate to do this graphic image, which could work with this particular design, but I would probably test this later. So my first design would probably just be to my wife and the message. You can do the bolding with the highlighting of the phrase elements with the red. That's fine. But I would probably do this as like a second iteration, adding the graphic element, and then seeing if that improves conversion. I wouldn't start with using all this real estate to grab attention and draw away from the phrase, because the phrase is what sells. And that's pretty much all that I really have. I'd probably, since the message is a bit more short, I would probably make it bigger and move this down a little bit, and use a little bit more line spacing and some letter spacing to use up all of the space that I can here at the bottom.
My turn.
Yes, sir.
So, first, when it comes to the phrase, uh, I know I keep working long hour. It should be long hours. So we have kind of a mistake there. I don't know if that's a spelling mistake or something deeper where we're having issues with grammar because maybe English isn't the first language. Also notice, even though it's minor, I know I keep working long hour. There's no comma, there's no period. Like this bit of the phrase doesn't end correctly, and then it immediately goes into "but my day starts and ends with you." So I would recommend, if English isn't your first language, definitely pair up with somebody, get on a buddy system just to make sure things are being proofread before they're published. The next thing is I actually feel like you have opportunity to perhaps experiment with niche, and that might be missed here. Now, I'm with Kirsta that the number one variable you should be focused on with testing is your phrase. You got to get the phrase kind of nailed down before you start doing some of the other experimental things. But just hear the phrase again. I know the distance is hard. I know I keep working long hours. My day starts and ends with you. You're describing a type of person, right? This could be. Hey, could you maybe mute for me, Zappy?
Oh,
I'm
sorry.
hearing it.
No.
No worries. Still hearing that echo. Test. Maybe it's Kirsta. At any rate, you're describing a type of person. The distance is hard. They're working long hours, that kind of thing. What comes to my mind is like a trucker, perhaps maybe a veteran, or somebody that has to travel a lot for a job, that kind of thing. And I actually think you might have opportunity here to niche down a little bit and go after one of those particular segments. So I don't think you should overlook that, but you definitely want to test the phrase first, do the other variables second. I completely agree there. I actually kind of like this font that was picked for the, I think hang on, let me get my pen ready for battle here. I actually kind of like this font. I think that's an okay font to do if you're going to do a fancy font and you want something to kind of stand out. Totally agree that this decal is way too much. It's too big. It's too in your face. It is completely distracting. When you look at this, your eye gets immediately drawn towards it. But the rest of it, to me, actually feels kind of elegant. This font here paired with this font here actually works for me. The size, I think, needs to be a little bit bigger. It needs to be more legible. I agree with everybody's other points on this. I feel like this is on track. It just needs some modifications, and then should go back out the door and retest it a little bit more. And I think that's what I have. You can probably kill this. Whoops, I'm supposed to be drawing an X over that. You can probably kill that altogether. And to be quite honest with you, you may not need that at all. You'd have to kind of play with that to see what looks good. But I think that's the feedback I've got. Zappy, what are you writing over here on the side?
I'm just typing some ponderings here. I'm not saying that this is. Never think that these are winning phrases here off the cuff, but this is just sort of how my mind works. At least I was looking at the phrase, and you can do this for creating your own phrases too. Find a few different ones and pull different elements, or rewrite something, or kind of get the gist of a sentence or a phrase, and I know not everybody, it's not something that everyone can necessarily do, but that's basically how you can do it. Just look at a sentence. So I don't know, even though being at a distance is hard, loving you is easy. Despite long hours at work, you are always on my mind, and I long for when I will be with you again, or I always long for when I will be with you again. Just, it's so hard because it's subjective. It's like, what's the difference between one phrase that's not emotional and one that is, or one that tugs at a heartstring and one doesn't? Sometimes it's hard to know that. So if you're not someone who, can dig in like that into emotion, or and when you're writing your own stuff, it's hard. So, find someone else, right? If you have a family member or friend or something, at the very worst, say, hey, read this. Does this sound emotional to you? If you're writing for trying to do a two-daughter phrase from dad, if you're not a dad yourself, find a dad and say, hey, is this something that sounds like it resonates with you? Just something like that even. So anyways, those are my thoughts.
Hey, Michael here again. Thank you so much for checking out today's video. If you like the content, make sure you like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. And there's one more thing I want you to do. Check out the links in the description below. I want you to look at the link to ShineOn.com where you can sign up and become a seller with us today. It literally takes 60 seconds and it could change your life. Secondly, I want you to go to our Facebook group. It's the most engaged e-commerce group on the planet. We're constantly sharing important tips, tricks, and things like that that can help you on your seller journey and level up your e-commerce game. Thank you so much for watching the video, and I hope you have a great one. Take care.